Lyme Regis, born here but not bred. I don't need it. I am probably here, like so many other people are, to actually question why, not policy, but the publicity, the behaviour of our town council that is publicised in such a way that, in my belief at least, I feel shameful to be part of Lyme Regis when I see reported the behaviour of what happens in council. I have no political judgment on any of you. You're all actually very good friends of mine, but I feel so hurt as a person who was born in this town to see the shameful behaviour of you, my elected town councillors. Why are you doing it? I do not care whether it's the gang of 5, gang of 7, gang of 12. I am so hurt by the behaviour of my elected town council. Please, will someone get a grip, sort this out? Because I am really, as you can well imagine, you can hear it now, I am so upset, and I'm sure I'm not the only person in this room who feels so disgraced by the behaviour of some of you people that I voted for. Well done, David. Yeah.
Having spoken to David on the way in and being well aware of how things will look as reported, all I can say is taking the council meetings, and sometimes for the chairs, chairing meetings is very difficult when there are strongly held opposing views. There is no direct answer. There was the opportunity which existed under the Nomads Lyme Regis TV for actually recording council meetings. And actually when that happened, the effect was quite striking. There is, with the view from Lyme Regis, the permission of the council to record meetings, and the council has been looking into recording meetings itself. I have no other direct answer. Does anyone else wish to say anything? Thank you.
I'll attempt to say something. I think it's a difficult one, and I grew up in an environment, of course, with Dad around where people debated. We grew up debating things around the dinner table, and still do, as anybody who eats with us or drinks with us can probably attest. And it's difficult. People get involved, they hold different views, and I don't think there is an excuse for people to be rude and people to be offensive. I think that is always unnecessary. There will always be debate, and I think there's a fine line between what is debate and what is that unacceptable behaviour, and sometimes it is difficult for some people to manage that. We tend to go home to the same house, Dad and I, and we tend to continue those discussions, and we do them perfectly amicably, but it is a difficult one for people, and I think it's something that needs to be worked on, but I'm not sure there is an excuse.
Thank you. The lady here had her hand up.
It's on now. It's on now. Good evening. I've not come here tonight to dispute who is or who isn't the mayor of Lyme Regis. I don't care how they got there or how they didn't get there. I do think, however, that it's time that the mayor of Lyme Regis is no longer a town councillor. We should have a leader of the town council. We should have a mayor that is taken from the hundreds of volunteers that virtually run this town. The lifeboat, the museum, the theatre. There are hundreds. And I'd like to think that in future, from next year, but when most of you will have to put up again anyway, that our mayor is chosen. I don't know how you do it. It would have to be on a volunteer basis from the person that would perhaps want to do it for 1 year as a status symbol, and they should be honoured by the town, because we have a small town council. This is going to continue year after year. You will be going round like a whirlpool. You'll be mayor this year, you'll be mayor next year, you'll be mayor the next year, and then it will start all over again when I think we've had enough. We have had enough. Let's have a mayor that is chosen from outside of the town council and a leader for your town council. Then we don't have this dispute when you go to civic functions. You have a civic function when only half the town council turn up. You have a mayor's parade when only half the town council turn up. It's shameful. If you had a mayor from the volunteers, people that do good in the town, they don't get paid. They don't get held any thanks. Without them, there's hundreds of organisations that couldn't work at all. At least then everybody would be perhaps proud to go to their events. They would be away from politics. No vote, no sitting on council, just there for special occasions, high days and holidays. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. This has been brought up and discussed before. Only unitary authorities in this country are where the electors elect the mayor, and that is, unless there's a special act of parliament, then that is what holds here. Does anyone wish to add to that?
Just to echo that it is only unitary authorities that can have an elected mayor who is called an elected mayor. That's not to say that we couldn't, if the town chose to, have some sort of elected civic, probably not a civic position, that's probably the wrong word, but could have an elected position. But it could never be the mayor because the law doesn't currently allow that. But we could have an elected position if that was the wish of the town. I just wanted to pick up about the volunteers. We tried very hard to pick up the volunteers and the volunteer involvement in the Honoured Citizens Awards 2 years ago. Last year, 2 years ago, the Jubilee year, which we tried to pick up those. But certainly as an elected position, it could be looked at. But the mayor has to be a chairman of the council, and that has to be elected by council. But there might be room for something.